and many other things of pent-up emotions. If you do not express your emotions properly, you will soon be bitter. With bitterness, you will damage your emotional centers, which is a chakra here and a chakra there, which regulates your pancreas. I'm specialized in healing diabetes, so I've been studying diabetes in India. And I know a lot of my clients with diabetes type 2 are people who had a lot of resentments, bitterness, or unable to express their feelings. So the culture called India is a culture that is very tolerant. You'd rather smile at your enemy than spank them, right? You'd rather be attacked by other forces than attacking other countries. You've been always attacked. So you are very tolerant, but at the same time, keeping that emotional energy without expressing it eventually turns into a disease. Either a back pain, thyroid problem, or a diabetic predisposed conditions. So love without power can harm you. I repeat, love and sweetness without power to defend yourself, you tend to be victimized by people. Even your children, you can see your profile, or you can see the profile of your child. A loving, sweet child who goes to school, very sweet, always smiling, but don't have the power to fight back or say no to their classmates. They grab their food, they will say, okay, until they become a victim mentality, until they grow older. So there's a victim profile. Sweetness without power and without intelligence is a victim. So it's not enough to have love in women. You need to establish the fact that you can develop and create your power. Not only the power to shout or to be aggressive. That's not what I mean. The power to stand and be firm with more Shiva energy. See, you will not fool anybody with Shiva energy. You cannot fool somebody who is projecting power. But you can fool somebody who projects love. See, perception issues. Okay. Like you cannot victimize Sonia Gandhi or Margaret Thatcher. But you can victimize Mother Teresa easily. Because they will forgive you, you see. The others, they will probably kill you or send the army. You cannot victimize George Bush. But you can victimize Dalai Lama. So there is a profile that loving people tends to be abused. So if you have a loving person with the act without intelligence and power, they also become guilty people. Guilt is a formula which is called love and too much emotional conscience without the power to resist the guilt. So guilt is also a plague that affects loving and sweet people. The conscience of loving people is too sensitive. So if you do not add intelligence to heart, it becomes guilt. If you don't add power into heart, it becomes oversensitivity, to be guilty of anything. So there's a significant component that love alone is not enough to balance your life. In fact, a lot of loving people, they have problems in balancing their life. Why? Because they have a lot of emotional issues of resentments. They are angry. They won't say it first, but after 20 years of marriage, after being debated for a long time, you're starting to shout when they're older. So then, when the man becomes older, the woman takes over. Especially if the man has problem in walking, the woman now is like, hey. You see, reverse. In fact, in India, I see a lot of older men now weaker than the woman after 50. So it changed the guard. Okay, so by law of karma, abuse me when I'm young, abuse when you're older. The tormentee changes and the tormentor changes. All right, now let's see the signs of power. What is power? Power can be expressed as vitality, stamina, internal power in you. Some women might be weak physically, but internally strong. Some men are very strong physically, but internally weak. So it's not just the physical body. But of course, if you have bigger muscles, then you have developed more will, because you have exercise, and exercise, athletic, sports, activities increases your will to do. Because you know, your muscles and your bones are component of the will and the Shiva energy. Okay, now willpower is very important. It's one of the most neglected but most sought component of life. People want to be powerful, but they don't have the strategy. Power has a science. The love can be an art of love, but power, you need the science of power. You need to develop it consciously. You cannot just, oh, I want to have power, and you don't act on power development. Okay, now what is the significance of power? Power delivers you to speed up, to materialize and manifest things. The will to be, see, I will be. Remove the word will, you cannot be. So when you say I will, it means to say you will have to persist and determine to make it happen. When you say I shall do it, who knows? Inshallah. Whenever. That's why when you say I will, it means to say you are determined. You're persistent, you are persevere. All right. Willpower is one of the most important components of sustainable success. A lot of people can have talents and intelligence, succeed for 10 years and fail in the next 20 years. Without the will, purpose does not stay in place. Purpose can only be sustained, and missions in life can only sustain if there's the will to be. And the will has to sustain the power to stay in place so a mission will be accomplished. Even people, children as well, women as well, if you do not finish what you start, the will is the problem, it's not the love. If you look at your children who do not finish what they start in school or in chores of the house, they are children who might be loving but do not have the will to do, will to be, will to finish, will to end up the project. A lot of people want to start projects, but many people drop halfway, and only a few will have the will to finish the project. Have you noticed that? On the start, everyone wants to volunteer. Halfway of the game, people start to wither. And on the end, the last 5%, only a few people will finish the project, right? With still strong determination and will to finish the project. So the will is a component that allows you to finish what you start. Therefore, it is an element to determine, to develop what we call discipline. People with discipline are people who have constancy of aim with constancy of effort. Without the effort, a person can wish things to happen but not the action to execute. So the problem of execution is people want to start but do not execute. Is that familiar to a lot of people? They say everything, they have all the theories, but nobody does it except a few people. The will to execute is will in action, master in action. So willpower has many variations. The spiritual will is Atma, the will of the soul. Buddhi is the love and knowledge from the soul. So even your soul has components of the Trinity. So anybody with will succeed more than most people with just talents. I know a lot of talented people who do not succeed. But I know a lot of people with will, with no education, but they succeed. Because they keep on focusing and focusing and focusing. It's just a matter of time that they will finish what they need. If you hammer the nail all the time, it will be fastened even in hardwood. Some people have so many nails, 1, 2, 3, and they do not finish it. It's called dispersal, right? So the constancy of aim, constancy of effort is called discipline. Now, a lot of people who are loving people do not have self-discipline. That's why they are halfway their success. They do not have sustainable achievements. Not all successful people are loving people. Have you noticed that? How many successful people today in India do have talent but not the love? Many entrepreneurs, many business people, many politicians, many executives have high education, but the heart is not developed as well. Therefore, you can see the Trinity has many variations of defects and imbalances. So let's go for the next step. What about intelligence, the mind component? What does it contribute? Talents, intelligence, your mind. Your mind is the strategic component of your life that facilitates you from moving A to B. You can have love, it preserves you to be happy, but if you don't have a strategic process to move from this point to the next step, you will not achieve the move. So to be able to go to higher achievement, you need to equip your mind with more strategic thinking, process orientation, sequencing events, and tacticality in a sense, so that you will have processes to move from A to B, from here to then. Because even you have the will to be, if you don't have processes, you will not move to point, from one point to the next. So you need the mind to make you move from A to B to C, to have plan D and plan C, not only plan A. The heart wants to have only plan A, thinking that I pray to God, God will grant me the plan. Not all the cases. There's a plan A. If that's the only plan, it will not work sometimes, because you have to have plan B or plan D. If it doesn't work that way, something has to be done. So you need the mind to plan ahead. You need the mind to list what things to do that are urgent and important. You need the mind to plan sequences. You need the mind to create, to innovate, to objectify things, to conceptualize things. But most people have education in school that trains you to memorize the answers, not to solve problems. Rote education, memory education. Today, our education is so focused on memorizing answers that are already known. Even children, they are educated to memorize quizzes, vocabulary, answers. They are taught how to memorize known things rather than create options. Hello. Yes. Okay. So I'd like to point out that balancing the three components, if you look at the will, it is related to force. So if a person is slow, what is missing in a person? Slow moving vehicles. Slow moving person. Force. Power. Now, if a person does have, I would say, anger, irritations, impatience, what is excessive? A lot of force, but lack of heart, because the heart needs to understand, right? The heart brings understanding. The heart brings sweetness. The heart brings sacrifice. So the different virtues rotate and revolve around this trinity. I'll give you an example. If a person has no persistence and perseverance, what is missing in the person? No determination. Lack of power. You can have love, you can have a mind, but if no will, you will not persist to continue what you're doing. You will quit before you finish. So a lot of children today have a lot of intelligence, but they don't have the will to discipline. So what happens? They are lazier. So laziness has something to do also of the lack of will to be. Procrastination, the will to finish your homework for the children. So laziness has something to do with power as well. All right, I'll give you another quiz. What if there's a lot of love, but a lot of intelligence, but lack of heart? What is the nature of the person, psychologically speaking? A lot of mind, very intelligent, but no heart. The person can be practical, can get a lot of money, but greedy. See, greed is a lot of money with no heart to give, no feeling to be generous. So greed is a lot of mind, amassing wealth with no heart to give. That is called greed. You install the heart to a rich person, they become a philanthropic agent. Install the heart to a rich person, they become generous. It's a missing of the heart. So it's an equation. So if I can probably go to the Ambanis, to the Jindals, to the Birlas, to the Bajaj, to all the rich billionaires in India, and say, I will help you develop your heart. In probably 1 month, they will use their billions to help the Indian communities, education and other things. I hope even one guru from India will go to all billionaires and say, let me give you the bhakti. Because they have a lot of money, a lot of power. You just need to crank their hearts and then they will do their job. If there's only one guru who will go to the billionaires and say, my mission is to install the heart in all the billionaires, to increase the Anahata chakra and the Sashara chakra, to make them more benevolent rather than just generous. Generosity is here. Benevolence is here. It's a higher form of values. All right. Now, if a person is very, very intelligent but lacks the heart, the person is called meticulous. Destructive criticism happens when you have so much sharpness and you see things, but you do not have the heart to be sensitive. So if a person, a woman, for example, has so much talent, intelligence, but lacks the heart development, that woman is difficult. They will criticize you. They will audit you all the time. They will have fault finding of all your mistakes. Have you noticed people who are fault finders? What do they have in their body, in their consciousness? Intelligence, but they are not emotional sensitive. It's called destructive criticism or meticulous criticism. If you have a boss who is very intelligent but lacks the heart, a difficult boss. As you have said, you have been nice to people and they still criticize you. You invite them for a good food and they still say, I like your food, but. See, even you feed them like so much food, they still complain. All right, so if you increase intelligence without the heart, it's also unhappiness. So if a woman has so much mind, so much sharpness, but without the heart, it's called unhappy woman. Have you seen a lot of intelligent women who are unhappy? Because lack of the heart. Have you seen also a lot of happy women with a good heart, but no achievement? Because their mind is not focused on achieving. They don't have the tacticality. I think it's better to have the three. That's why my job today is how do you develop the heart, or if you have a heart, how to install your power furthermore, and how to sharpen your mind so that you have power and you have the heart and the mind. You are the leader of the leader of the leaders in women or in society. You're not just a Mother Teresa or a Sonia Gandhi or an Einstein. You are the three of them and you are in the center managing all of them. You are the boss of the boss of the boss. You don't have to be one of them. Why? You understand and envelop everyone. That is the gift of being in the center. Even Mother Teresa needs an entrepreneur to donate money for her non-profit work. Remove the donations, they will not perform well. So you can see that. All right. Now, how about if you have too much power without the heart? What is the resultant quality? A dictator, a destroyer. Too much power without the heart, you destroy people. You do whatever you want without the conscience of feeling what would they feel, or role playing. So it is not also good to have so much power without the heart. You'll become a destroyer and you can destroy even your loved ones. Your priority will not be your loved ones. Your priority will be your political career, and at the expense of your family and the expense of your money. So people with a lot of power, they are obsessed to stay in power, even they lose their loved ones or they lose their business. And business people are on the third leg. Intelligence, they'd rather lose their loved ones than lose their business. Or People who are loving, they'd rather lose their business and their power as long as they have their loved ones also. You see that the Trinity has their own pros and cons. If you understand this, you would know why people make money and others don't. And why people have more friends and others do not have friends. And why do people have more enemies than other people? It is very easy to look at this. And let's see. Who have more friends in the profile of the Trinity? So even you don't have all the money in the world, but you have many friends who have money. That is good, right? If they will give it to you. The problem is you are so guilty to ask. So even you have rich friends, you are so guilty to receive. Because, oh, don't give me anything. I'm okay. I'm happy already with what I have. That's also a problem because guilt is highest in the loving people. So you pray to God to receive help, but you don't want to receive it. Somebody will give it to you in another form. But, oh, I pray to God, and the friend says, yeah, this is what you need. No, I need something else. All right. So if you look at yourself, where do you belong? And why do you have your problems today? And why do you have your success today? You see it in the Trinity. So I'd like you to move the Trinity by scoring it. I'd like you to see your score out of 5, 5 being perfect or superb. What is your grade of power versus love versus intelligence? Once you see your grade, you will understand your path. And how do you improve your next steps so that you will not be a victim of the imbalances of excess or lack of the 3 legs. If you were a table, you are banking or you are imbalanced if you have one leg shorter than the other. And most people, that is their problem today. And I will prove to you. I have lectured this in Amity, I've lectured this in ONGC, in PWC, in a lot of politicians. And when they see this one, they know why they are such today because of an imbalance. So I'd like you to grade yourself using this measure. 0 if you are not developed at all. 1 if you have a very, very little development. 3 if it is very developed. 4 if it is excellent. 5 if it is superb. 5 if you are God. Something like that. Or a Mahaguru. All right, I want you to grade with respect to your benchmark today, who you are today. Of course, you can compare yourself to the Buddha or to a Mahaguru. You compare yourself to your peers of the same league. Then you will not be unhappy also. Okay? All right, I'll give you a few minutes to grade and analyze, because out of your grades, I can explain anything that's happening to you today. I use this to coach a lot of CEOs, politicians, and even people from Harvard, and they see that it's so simple, but it is easy to see. You see the failure or your potential pitfalls in the future. If you do not see the grade now, you cannot predict what would you not be and what would you not achieve. So from there, I would like you to grade and then evaluate with me a few of your grades. And you can use this to profile your children, by the way. And your boss, yeah? Okay. If your mental clarity is not strong, sometimes you lack the mental faculty. Scientists are very clear in what they're thinking, right? That the love, wisdom people, they know but they're not clear. But they feel. Now, indecisiveness is caused by lack of will and lack of mind. Because a lot of loving people are indecisive. Right or wrong? There's a reason to that. Either you don't want to hurt people, that's why you cannot choose, because one of you will hurt somebody. And sometimes you cannot please everyone, and you don't want to displease anybody. And that's the problem of the type love kind, because you want to include everyone, like even the rotten tomato, you want them to be in the basket. And that's a problem in companies. Others will not trust you anymore if you include all the dead woods. You do not cut them. They will be bad for the company or the group. All right, I want you to have 1 more minute, and then I will profile you based on your grade. Without knowing you, I can look at your profile and interpret what you argue with your husband or your mother-in-law. Imagine if your mother-in-law is Margaret Thatcher. Grade? If you have 5, you are superb. For example, if you benchmark your love to Mother Teresa as 5 is Mother Teresa, then what is your grade? But I do not encourage you to do that. You profile yourself of your present development, benchmark it today. Otherwise, if you are now 5, then you will not have any more growth. So I don't think there should be a 5. You can put 3.25 or 1.075. It's okay. If you're Einstein, you can put decimals. No, it's okay. You can grade 3.5, 2.5, depend on your accuracy. Just guess for now. Yes? Okay, good question. Are we born with these traits? Yes. We are born with a certain predisposed qualities. Mother Teresa was not a loving person since she was a kid. It's just enhanced. So you can expand the other legs by learning a certain degree. For example, if you are a clinical psychologist, which is a loving kind of professional, you can take MBA to increase the intelligence to run your business and put a clinic rather than just work as an employee. So you can add other degrees of your life to empower the thing you don't have yet. Or if you want to develop willpower, because you don't have a lot of will, you can train with martial arts, karate, kung fu, and be trained how to punch and be punched, and you don't have any more sensitivity. Okay? And then you increase the will. Or you jog every day, you go to the gym, develop more power of density, and then you increase the willpower grade. You are not doomed by what you are born with. You have opportunities to grow through the 3 areas. But you are born with a certain quality that is natural to you. For example, was Sonia Gandhi always powerful? When she was a wife of Rajiv Gandhi, was she that powerful? Okay, so that's a good answer, right? She was probably the bhakti of Rajiv Gandhi, right? But because of need and necessity, if they push you up to be the power of position will empower you and you get used to it. Correct? So there are many ways, like the power of uniform. When you see a military officer with a uniform, you will respect. When they remove the uniform and they meet them in Baba Road in somewhere in Delhi, in central Delhi, you will not even say excuse to them. But if they're in military uniform, you respect them. So there's power by uniform. There's a power by role in office. There's a power by lineage. There's many sources of power. But if you don't have the power of lineage, you can create your own power by developing yourself. By exercises, and life sometimes teach you power by making you suffer until you overcome your suffering and you become stronger. As they said, what doesn't kill you makes you stronger, right? Or you go through different sufferings and then you become stronger also and more wise. All right. Please answer, or I'll ask the grades, and I'll give you an example of what you can be and the potential seed of failure of your profile. You can do it to your children, and you can profile your boss or your future son-in-law if they have 3 applicants. Okay, if you have a future son-in-law, who will give you more money? The loving one or the intelligent one? It depends. Even they are intelligent and a lot of money, if they don't have the heart, they will not give you also. So both, right? Okay. Give me a grade and I'll give you the example before I give you techniques how to develop the Trinity. Yes? What's your grade? Yeah, you just give me the grade of the tree and I'll interpret it. Zero. You don't have a bone. Your bone is your Shiva in your body. Okay. Is high. So you're not loving and sweet? Okay, okay. Then the Brahma aspect? Okay. So you are 0,